Welcome back to our program this afternoon. I have to say we have a very distinguished panel of guests here that are speaking about the implications of the Orlando tragedy that happened last June 12. Now, my question for all of you, mga kababayans, is what can us Filipinos learn from this tragic and horrific incident? What needs to be addressed? What are the issues at play? Are they, gun control? Is it hate crimes? Is it LGBTQ acceptance? I mean, I know it's such a big loaded question, but let's try to tackle it. Yeah. Dr. Ocampo.
So I'm going to take the LGBTQ acceptance part because I think one thing we have to realize is that there is so many things that are within our reach to do. So little things that my family members have done have asked me, hey, are you okay? Or whenever we go to family parties and they ask where my partner, hey, where's your partner? It shows me that who I am is acceptable. It's not just tolerated, it's embraced. And that makes me feel that I have a community in my own family to then talk about the other aspects of my LGBTQ identity in the open in a way that's just like any other family member. And so I think that's for my kababayan out there, the thing I would say is just don't silence yourself and ask people, how does it feel, to have a partner? How does it feel to be in love? I would love to meet him or her.
Okay, wonderful. James, what needs to be addressed? What are the issues here? Like, how does that photo make you feel? That's,
That photo frightens me. I think there is obviously a problem with mass shootings in this country, and that problem happens for a lot of reasons. It's clear that men are the ones that are over and over again committing these murders. And we need to think about how we're raising our boys, right? How to teach them to deal with their feelings so that they don't act out and become violent and kill people with guns that then need to be dealt with, right? I think a lot of people are calling a ban on assault weapons, and I'm for that. And I think we need to, as a community, really think about what it means to protect our LGBTQ siblings and children and parents, right? I think we need to be willing, if there's street harassment, to speak out against people yelling names. We need to be willing to literally physically intervene if people are being attacked on the street, right? I think
but see, the Filipinos, kasi they don't want to be part of any, they're okay just being by the sidelines. They don't want to cause any ruckus. And that's what needs to change, right? We are here in America. We need to have our voices heard. And I think what you're saying is that really, we have a space. We should own the space to protect our other kababayans.
Yeah.
Thank you. Gio.
Well, just piggybacking on what everybody said, silence equals death. Period.
Silence so kung hindi ka magsalita, para ka rin ng patay?
May mamamatay.
May mamamatay.
Pag hindi ka nagsalita, may mamamatay, which is evident in this situation. And it's not just about religion, I could totally sense that Pinoys are going to say, hey, Muslim yan eh. No. Christians, Catholics do it as well, and I think it's very, very important that instead of shaming our kababayans who come out as gay, defend them. If you're the parent, you should stand up and say, I love my son, I love my daughter, so if you protected your child for so many years, there's no reason for you to stop defending them and suddenly be ashamed of them, right? I've been fortunate that I have a family who stands up for me now. It wasn't always like that. But I think one of the things that queer people, gay, lesbians, trans, have is this opportunity to have this inner strength. Because being gay is not weakness. It is about being strong. Because we have to go out there and watch our backs constantly, and this situation that happened in Orlando is evident that it's still happening today. And wait till you go outside the country.
Yes.
Wait till you go outside the country where it is still unlawful. You will go to jail for that. So my biggest thing is, if you don't speak out, something will probably, if it hasn't happened yet, to your cousin, to your relative, to your friend, or your son or daughter, so that's my spiel on that.
Okay, so when we return here, we'll talk about how do we unite our community? Because, Lin-Manuel Miranda, love is love is love is love. Is that enough? Let's talk about that when we return here on Kababayan Today. We are back on Kababayan Today, and we are discussing the recent events that happened in Orlando with this mass shooting and how that relates to us being Filipino here in America. We have Dr. Anthony Ocampo joining us, James McMaster, and Giovanni Ortega. Now, let's talk about how do we unite our community in the face of all of this tragedy?
Yeah.
Dr. Ocampo.
Well, I think, I recently saw this post that said the problem with Filipinos. I don't know if you saw it on social media, but my
I'm
friend,
sure that list is really long. Sorry, but come on.
But
It's your next book.
my good friends, Valerie Francisco, is a professor at San Francisco State, talked about the problem with Filipinos, and it's this: we underestimate the power we have. There are Filipinos that are organizing, not just here in the United States, but also organizing for social movements in the Philippines. And I think if we just did a little bit of digging, we'd be able to get tapped into those community organizations that are doing anti-racism work, anti-homophobic work, and it's a matter of building a movement one family member at a time.
Okay. How do we unite this community in the face of all this death and, unacceptance? James.
Yeah, I think one thing that a lot of people know if they lose a loved one or whatever is that one thing that unites a community is grief, right? And we've lost people, and 80% of all LGBTQ folks who are attacked or victims of violent crime are people of color. And obviously that includes Filipinos and Filipino Americans, right? And so there's a lot of grief that is possible given that statistic within our community. And we want to avoid that. We want to unite around that because it's really, for us, it's life or death. And what is there to unite around except keeping your loved ones alive?
Very inspiring.